Welcome to Shabbat with the Schmear here at the epicenter of the Upper West Side, Barney Greengrass. But for Shabbat Mom, Meredith Berkman, and Rabbi Adam Mintz, it is currently the epicenter of Torah. Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi Mintz.
Shabbat Shalom, Vayelech this week. We're getting to the end of the Torah, and Moses says, I'm 120 years old. What do you make of this idea of Moses being 120? You know, 120, we still wish people until 120. In Hebrew, they have a phrase, ad mea ve'esrim. In Yiddish, they say it bis 120. Every language has this idea you should live to 120. How do you think Moses felt at 120?
First of all, I love that Hebrew and Yiddish you refer to as every language, but that's another story. Love that. I grew up, thank God, my father just turned 91, and my entire life, that's what he always said, till 120, till 120. And now I say it, and even I've heard my children say it. That is so deeply rooted in how I was taught about Moses and the Torah. What's interesting from the modern perspective is 120 then would be like, 350 now. now, as people are living longer. What I find really interesting, it's also so like almost pedestrian in its humanity. He says, I am now 120, I can no longer be active. And so, what does that mean? You have the sense, Moshe speaking powerfully through these words, but is he just sitting? Is he lying in bed? Like you sort of wonder what. When my dad turned 91 and he said, "Oh, I feel like I'm getting older," I said, "Daddy, if you subtract 91 from 120, God willing, you got miles to go before you rest." And that's really how I hope and dream for all of us and for all the people that I care about. So I do think, again, to know how old Moses is, it reminds me of the powerful specificity of knowing how many people were, in the census, many weeks ago, when we're told specifically how many people, and it really, especially for kids, when my kids were little and we would do this, that it's so real. It becomes so real to them, as it should be, and as it should be for our people. But those moments where there are numbers and weights, and now to know exactly how old Moses is, and to know that maybe his back hurts, so he's sitting down when he says it, that's really, that's why I think of it as the magic book, and it comes to life.
It's great. I'll just tell you two things. One is that in a couple of weeks, the Torah is going to tell us that Moses had no wrinkles at 120.
You mean there was biblical Botox?
Yeah, that must have been. And I
Was
once said to somebody who was in his 90s, I wished him until 120, and he said to me, we live in an age of inflation. He says, I should get at least 150.
I got to talk to that person. Shabbat
Shabbat Shalom.